The bathroom door, Part 1. The leak beneath the light. The first time Mira heard the drip, she thought it was rain, but it hadn't rained in 2 weeks. Her apartment stood on the top floor of an old brick building downtown. The kind with uneven walls, creaky floors, and narrow hallways that always smelled faintly of damp plaster. She had moved in just 5 days earlier. Cheap rent, quiet neighbors, and a bathroom that looked recently renovated. That last part was what convinced her to take it. She liked clean spaces. She needed them. But on the 6th night, as she brushed her teeth before bed, she noticed the sound of a slow, deliberate drip echoing from somewhere near the bathtub. She bent down, expecting to find a leaking faucet, but the tap was dry. The water wasn't coming from the sink or the shower head, it was coming from beneath the tub. Mira frowned, running her hand along the cool porcelain edge. The tiles below were still, the sound continued, drip, 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 like a steady heartbeat beneath the floor. The light. She tried to ignore it, turned off the bathroom light, and crawled into bed. But the sound didn't stop, even from the bedroom. She could hear it. By midnight, it grew louder, almost closer. Frustrated, she switched on her phone's flashlight and padded barefoot to the bathroom door. The hallway air felt thick, warmer than it should have been. When she pushed open the door, a faint whiff of something metallic hit her nose. Iron, old and sharp. She thought maybe the landlord had used some strange cleaning chemical. Her light caught something glistening near the drain. A puddle, dark red, spreading slowly. Her breath hitched. She blinked twice. The puddle was gone. The tiles were dry against spotless, reflective, ordinary. Only the faint hum of the ceiling bulb remained. But as she turned to leave, that same weak bulb flickered once, twice, then burned steady again. And in that flicker, she thought she saw a shadow standing behind her, tall, blurred, motionless. When the light steadied, there was nothing there. The morning after. By morning, everything seemed normal. Sunlight washed through the curtains. The air smelled of coffee and toast. Mira told herself it was stress. New place, strange sounds, nothing unusual. She even laughed about it while talking to her coworker Eli over lunch. Greater than you live alone now, Eli said. Old buildings make noises. Pipes expand. Wood contracts. It's nothing. She nodded, smiling. But something in her gut didn't settle. That night, when she came home, she noticed the bathroom door was slightly open. She was sure she had closed it before leaving. Inside, the mirror was fogged over as if someone had taken a long, hot shower. But the air was cold. There was no steam, no warmth. Just the faint trace of water streaks sliding down the mirror's surface, forming the shape of something almost like a handprint. She wiped it away, her pulse hammering. Beneath the condensation, words had been traced into the glass. Let it drain. Her scream caught in her throat. The message disappeared before she could blink. The noise returns. That night, the dripping turned into running water. She jumped from bed, rushing to the bathroom, only to find the faucet still dry. The sound wasn't above this time, it was below. Something was moving in the drain, like a faint gurgle. followed by the scrape of metal on metal. Asterisk, she bent closer. Holding her breath, a faint whisper crawled through the pipes. Greater than help me. Asterisk, she stumbled back, nearly falling over the bath. Her phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. When she picked it up, the flashlight revealed something smeared along the drain edge, brownish red crusted. She thought it was rust. Until the smell hit her. Not rust. Blood. Asterisk, she backed away slowly. Turned off the light, shut the door, and pressed her palms against it. Asterisk, from the other side came a soft, wet thud, then another, like something heavy shifting inside the tub. The call. Asterisk, the next morning. She called the landlord, Mr. N. Asterisk, he was old, polite enough but distant. Asterisk, the bathroom. He said after a pause. That unit's plumbing was replaced last month. No reason it should be leaking. Asterisk, well, something's wrong, Mira said. There's dripping. And asterisk, I'll send a man tomorrow, he interrupted. Don't use the bathroom till then. Asterisk, she agreed, though she had no intention of waiting. She couldn't not, after what she'd heard. Asterisk, that evening, she walked into the bathroom with a wrench and a flashlight. If something was wrong with the drain, she'd find it. She crouched beside the tub, unscrewing the metal cover plate. It came off with a screech. Beneath it was darkness. Not the smooth circular pipe she expected, but a hole. A deep, rough one. Asterisk, and from that darkness rose a faint breath, cold and damp, brushing her wrist. Then came the voice again, clearer this time, greater than he shouldn't have sealed it. Asterisk, she dropped the wrench. Heart hammering. The flashlight trembled in her hand, casting erratic shadows along the tile. Asterisk, the hole was now wet, as if something inside had started to seep upward. Asterisk, dark liquid, thick as oil, slowly pooling around the drain. Asterisk, she scrambled to her feet and turned for the door, only to find it closed. She hadn't closed it, but it was. Asterisk, and the handle was turning on its own. Trapped. Asterisk, Myra yanked the handle, but it wouldn't move. Asterisk, the bulb above her flickered again, faster now, strobing the room in flashes of light and shadow. With every flicker, the dark puddle grew, spreading toward her feet. She stepped back, chest heaving. The drain made a low, moaning sound, almost like breathing. Greater than open the door, she shouted. Asterisk, no answer. Only the hum of electricity and the pulse of water beneath the tiles. Asterisk, she slammed her shoulder against the door. Once, twice. Asterisk, it finally gave way with a sharp crack, and she stumbled into the hallway. Asterisk, when she turned back, everything was dry again. Asterisk, no puddle, no voice, just silence. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Asterisk, greater than don't touch the drain again. Asterisk, her fingers went cold. The timestamp read 3:03 a.m. Asterisk, but she hadn't noticed the time because it was still only 9:47 p.m. on her wall clock. The building's secret. Asterisk, the next day. The plumber arrived. A man in his 60s, with sunken eyes and trembling hands. He refused to go near the tub. Asterisk, greater than this line used to connect to the basement, he muttered. There was a tin can, old one. They sealed it years ago after. What happened? Asterisk, what happened? Mira asked. Asterisk, he just shook his head. Ma'am, if you hear water again, leave the apartment. Don't look in the mirror. Don't open the drain. Then he left, leaving muddy boot prints on the tiles. Myra stood alone, staring at her reflection. Asterisk for a moment. The light behind her flickered again, and in the mirror, a second face appeared beside hers. Asterisk, it smiled. The bathroom door part 2. The basement below. Asterisk, Mira couldn't sleep that night. Every sound of the old building, the pipes groaning, the wind rattling the window panes, the distant hum of traffic made her heart pound faster. She kept thinking of the dark hole beneath her bathtub and the voice she had heard. The words repeated in her mind like a broken record. He shouldn't have sealed it. Asterisk, by morning, she decided she couldn't stay silent. She had to understand what was in the drain. The locked basement. Asterisk, the building's basement was a cramped, dimly lit space filled with the smell of mold and rust. Mira had never ventured there. Tenants rarely did. But she remembered the plumber's warning, and a sudden impulse overtook her. She needed to see the tank he had mentioned. Asterisk, the basement door was old, with peeling paint and a rusty lock. She fumbled with her keys, finally managing to turn the key. The door creaked open to reveal stairs descending into near total darkness. Asterisk, the flashlight in her hand barely cut through the gloom. Old pipes snaked along the walls, dripping intermittently, and the air was cold, damp, and heavy with a metallic temps. Asterisk, at the far end, she saw a small steel door, locked and slightly ajar. It was the tank room. She realized the sealed tank the plumber had warned about. The tank. Asterisk, Mira approached cautiously. The metal door was scratched and worn. A faint humming sound emanated from inside. She pushed it open further. Asterisk, inside, she saw a large, cylindrical tank filled with dark water. On the surface floated objects that glinted faintly under her flashlight. She leaned closer and saw hands. 2 human hands, pale and bloated, floating motionless. Her stomach churned. She stumbled back. This was not possible. This couldn't be real. Yet the smell, the dark water, the floating limbs, it was undeniable. Asterisk, from the corner of her eye, she noticed movement. Something under the water shifted. She could feel eyes on her, though she knew no one was in the room. Asterisk, suddenly, a voice echoed, this time inside her head, louder and clearer than before. Asterisk, greater than you shouldn't be here. The whispers. Asterisk, panic set in. Mira stumbled backward, nearly falling down the basement stairs. She tried to scream, but the sound caught in her throat. The voice came again. Asterisk, greater than leave it alone. Or join us. Asterisk, the water in the tank began to bubble, faintly at first, then more violently. A figure emerged, half submerged, pale and twisted, its eyes hollow but filled with anger. Its lips moved, forming words Mira couldn't hear. Yet she understood perfectly. It wanted her to descend into the tank. The light of her flashlight flickered and died. In the sudden darkness, Myra felt icy hands brush against her arm. She screamed and ran, slamming the tank room door behind her. Asterisk, the hum of the tank continued even with the door closed. It pulsed like a heartbeat, growing louder, syncing with her own frantic pulse. Nightmares begin. Asterisk, Mira barely slept that night. Every dream was of water, dark, viscous water rising through the bathroom floor, filling her apartment, filling her lungs. She woke each time gasping, soaked in sweat. The next morning, she noticed her bathroom mirror was fogged again. Slowly, words appeared in the condensation. They're waiting. Her hands trembled as she wiped it away. The message returned, rewritten differently. Don't go down. Her reflection stared back at her, eyes wide. But behind her, in the mirror, a shadow moved independently. The second encounter determined to confront the fear. Mira returned to the basement in the afternoon. This time, she brought a crowbar and gloves. The steel door to the tank rattled as she approached, almost as if it recognized her intent. She forced it open. The tank water was still, deceptively calm. No floating hands. No movement. She stared, hoping the hallucinations would end. But then, the water rippled. A face emerged, bloated gray eyes, empty yet accusatory. Myra stepped back, tripping over a loose pipe. The crowbar slipped from her hand, clattering across the concrete floor. The figure spoke, voice gurgling, warped by the water. Greater than he didn't belong here. But you do. Mira scrambled backward, heart pounding. The figure lunged from the water, not fully formed, half drowned, reaching for her with skeletal hands. She ran blindly, stumbling up the stairs, gasping for air. The door to the basement slammed behind her, though she had no strength to close it. The apartment changes back in her apartment. Everything felt wrong. The walls seemed closer, the ceiling lower. The bathroom light flickered constantly. The faucet dripped even though she hadn't touched it. And the smellerin and decaling guard, no matter how much she cleaned. Mira's phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Greater than you cannot leave. They know. She screamed. The shower curtain swayed as if moved by invisible hands. And through the bathroom tiles, a faint scratching began like fingernails clawing beneath the surface. Seeking answers. The next day, she researched the building's history. Public records revealed the truth. 20 years ago, a tenant had disappeared in the apartment. Maintenance. Logs mentioned unusual plumbing, repairs, and a sealed tank in the basement. No one had ever explained why the tank existed. Mira realized she wasn't dealing with pipes and plumbing anymore. Something supernatural was connected to the tank. Something hungry. The final warning. That night, she wrote a note to herself on the bathroom mirror with lipstick. Do not open the drain. Do not go to the basement. But as she stared at her own reflection, she saw a second pair of eyes blink back at her. Slowly, the shadow behind her took form, a face swollen, gray, whispering in a voice like bubbling water. We are coming for you. Mira turned to run, but the bathroom door slammed shut on its own. The light flickered, leaving her in the same oppressive darkness she had felt in the basement. And beneath the floorboards, she could hear it dripping, bubbling, waiting. The bathroom door, Part 3. The reflection moves. Mira hadn't slept in 2 nights. The apartment, once her safe haven, had transformed into a prison of dripping water, flickering lights, and whispers that seemed to come from every corner. She couldn't escape the feeling of being watched, even when no one else was around. Her bathroom mirror, once ordinary and reflective, had become a window into something else, something that didn't belong to this world. The mirror changes that evening. She approached the bathroom slowly. The bulb overhead flickered violently, casting shadows that danced across the tiles. As she looked into the mirror, she froze. It wasn't her reflection that greeted her. The image in the glass was wrong. Her eyes were sunken, her skin grayish, her mouth stretched into a silent scream. But the most terrifying part. The reflection blinked after she had blinked. Its lips moved subtly, forming words she couldn't hear. Let me out. Mira stumbled back. Her hands trembled so violently that she dropped her phone. The screen shattered on the tiles, but the camera app remained on, capturing a faint movement behind her in the reflection. A shadow shifted, slow, deliberate. The mirror showed her standing in the bathroom. Yet something else was also there. Another figure, taller, hunched, its face obscured by darkness. The first touch she reached out, fingers trembling, wanting to wipe away the reflection. As her fingertips brushed the glass, a cold, wet hand grabbed hers from inside the mirror. She screamed, jerking back violently. The light bulb exploded with a sharp pop, sending shards of glass clattering to the floor. The bathroom went dark, leaving her with only the faint glow of her phone screen. You can't leave. The voice whispered, now clearly audible, gurgling as if underwater. Myra realized with horror that the entity inside the mirror could interact with her reality. The reflection wasn't just showing her, it was reaching for her. Trapped in the apartment she tried to leave the bathroom, but the door refused to budge. Every attempt to pull it open met resistance, as if something heavy pushed against it from the other side. She pounded, screamed, kicked it, was useless. Her mind raced. She remembered the words from the plumber, don't look in the mirror. Don't open the drain. Now, she understood. The tank in the basement, the blood in the drain, the reflection, all were connected. Whatever had been sealed beneath the building had found a new way to reach her, through reflective surfaces. The phone incident, desperate. Myra grabbed her phone, hoping to call for help. But the screen was strange. The camera feed displayed her bathroom as usual, yet in the corner. The mirror image moved independently. It smiled at her. Greater than soon, it whispered. The voice, low, chilling. She dropped the phone again. It landed face down, and when she picked it up, the screen flashed with a message. Look into the mirror. Oh, it comes for you. Myra staggered backward. Her pulse hammered. She wanted to run, to escape the apartment. But she feared leaving it might trigger something worse. Researching the past the next day, she went to the city archives. She pored over old newspaper clippings, tenant records, and police reports. What she found horrified her. The building was constructed over an abandoned asylum from the 1920s. Several patients had disappeared mysteriously. Their cases were quietly closed. Plumbing Renovations decades ago had included sealing large tanks beneath the building, tanks supposedly containing water mixed with chemical residues. She realized the tank she had seen in the basement wasn't just a plumbing fixture. It had been a containment vessel designed to trap something human, yet not entirely alive. The mirror was now an extension of the tank. Whatever was in the water could manifest in reflective surfaces. The night escalates. That evening, Mira tried to avoid the bathroom. She stayed in the living room, covering every reflective surface with old towels. The dripping, however, continued slow at first, then accelerating into a steady roar. The mirror's voice spoke again, now inside her head. Greater than I see you, I want you. A sudden chill swept the room. Water began to seep from the ceiling, pooling on the floor. It rose quickly, ankle-deep within moments. From the depths of the water came a gurgling sound, and Mira realized with terror that the building itself seemed alive. The bathroom door slammed open violently. Through the doorway, she glimpsed her reflection, or rather, its copy, stepping out, dripping water and grime. Its eyes were hollow, its lips curved into a cruel smile. The chase. Mira ran. She didn't know where to go. Every door, every window she tried to open was blocked, as if the building itself conspired against her. The reflection followed, moving fluidly, not restricted by walls or furniture. Greater than you can't hide, it hissed, voice echoing like a subterranean river. She stumbled into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, anything to defend herself. The entity entered the room without hesitation, water dripping from its form, leaving black streaks on the floor. Mira swung the knife blindly. It passed through the figure. It laughed, a wet, hollow sound that reverberated in her skull, confronting the mirror. In desperation, Mira realized she had no choice. She had to face it in the mirror. She dragged herself to the bathroom, heart hammering. The reflection was waiting, dripping water onto the floor, black streaks forming unnatural patterns. Greater than, look at me, it whispered. She locked eyes with it. Her reflection mimicked her movements, but then something changed. It began to act independently, stepping closer, extending its hand toward the drain. The drain. No, Mira screamed. Her hands flew to cover her eyes. She could still feel its gaze through her eyelids, piercing, malicious. Slowly, she lowered her hands, forcing herself to confront it. The reflection now spoke in a clearer voice. Greater than you are mine. You cannot run. Not until the tank is free. The revelation. Mira understood. The tank in the basement had been sealed for a reason. The entity, human yet corrupted by decades in water and chemical sludge, was now reaching for freedom. Every reflective surface in the apartment was a conduit, and worse. The entity wasn't just trying to scare her, it was trying to replace her. Greater than soon. You will be in the water, it whispered, and I will walk free. Her knees buckled. She had to escape. She had to get to the basement, destroy the tank, or else she would become just another face in the mirror. The plan. With trembling hands, Mira grabbed a flashlight, a crowbar, and her phone. She prepared herself to descend into the basement once again. Asterisk, the dripping intensified, echoing like footsteps following her. Every reflective surface now seemed alive, watching, waiting. She covered the mirrors and glossy surfaces in towels and sheets, hoping to block the entity's gaze as she descended. Asterisk, as she reached the basement door, she paused. The entity's whisper followed her. Asterisk, greater than do not try. It is too late. Asterisk, but Myra stepped forward anyway, heart pounding. She had no choice. Confrontation was the only option. The bathroom door, Part 4. The drain awakens. Asterisk, the apartment was silent now, but not in a comforting way. The kind of silence that presses down on you, heavy and thick. The type that makes your own heartbeat sound like a drum in a vast, empty hall. Mira stood in the living room, gripping her flashlight and crowbar tightly, staring at the basement door. She had no illusions left. Whatever was in the tank, in the drains, and in the mirrors was alive. And it had been waiting for her. Asterisk, she took a deep breath. She had to confront it. Descending into darkness, asterisk, the basement steps were cold and slick with moisture. Each step creaked, echoing down into the darkness. Myra's flashlight barely cut through the blackness, illuminating pipes twisted like serpents along the walls. The air was damp and heavy with the metallic scent of old water. Asterisk, at the bottom of the stairs, she paused. The tank room was ahead. The metal door was closed, but she could hear it. The soft gurgling of water, faint but persistent, like a heartbeat growing stronger with every passing second. Asterisk, her hand trembled as she turned the handle. The door swung open silently, revealing the tank. Asterisk, the water inside wasn't calm. It rippled, black waves moving as if something large stirred beneath the surface. The faint glow of her flashlight revealed shapes, forms moving, twisting. A voice emerged, clear and commanding. Greater than you shouldn't have come. Asterisk, Mira's skin prickled. The voice was close now, resonating through the metal walls, as if the tank itself was speaking. The entity emerges. Asterisk, suddenly, the water erupted. A figure shot upward, dripping sludge and murky water everywhere. It wasn't entirely human. Its body twisted, limbs disproportionate, skin mottled gray. Its eyes glowed faintly, hollow, filled with malice. Asterisk, greater than I have waited, it hissed. And now, you will join me. Asterisk, Mira raised her crowbar, swinging at the figure. Her weapon passed through it, as if it were made of smoke and shadow. But the water responded violently, splashing and knocking her back. Asterisk, the entity lunged again. Mira dodged, feeling water spray across her face. She realized she couldn't fight it physically. She had to destroy the tank, sever its connection to the apartment. The drain awakens. Asterisk, she remembered the drain beneath her bathroom. It wasn't just a conduit, it was a channel, a bridge between the tank and the apartment above. She had to act fast. Asterisk, the entity screamed, a sound that shattered the air, rattled the pipes, and reverberated through her chest. Mira ran to the corner of the basement where a pipe led upward toward her bathroom. She removed the cover plate, exposing the dark, narrow drain. Asterisk, greater than no. The entity shrieked. Water surged violently, trying to repel her, but she forced herself forward. Asterisk, she climbed into the drain as best she could, squeezing through the cold, wet metal. Darkness surrounded her. The smell of rot and decay was overwhelming. She could hear faint whispers, unintelligible, like a choir of voices trapped beneath the tiles. Inside the drain, asterisk, the passage was tight, forcing her to crawl on her hands and knees. The walls were slick, the water rising around her feet. Faint shapes moved in the darkness, shadows shifting, something alive brushing against her legs. Asterisk, her flashlight flickered. Through the faint beam, she saw them, faces pressed against the drain walls, pale and hollow-eyed, mouths opening in silent screams. She wanted to vomit, but she forced herself to keep crawling. Asterisk, at the end of the drain. She saw it, the bathroom floor above, faintly visible, and beneath it the swirling water from the tank was reaching up, spreading into the drain like ink. Asterisk, greater than you cannot stop me, the entity whispered. You are already mine. The ritual asterisk. Mira remembered something from the archivism note in one of the old asylum records. Water holds the past. Seal the source, and the entity will return to the tank. Burn the connection, and it dies. Asterisk, her hands shook as she unrolled a small box she had brought from her apartment, a box of matches, some old rags, and a small container of lighter fluid. She soaked the rags and stuffed them into the drain, carefully arranging them near the pipe's entrance. Asterisk, greater than stop, the entity moaned. Water churned violently. The pipe shook. The drain itself seemed alive, writhing beneath her fingers. Asterisk, she struck a match. The small flame caught the rag, and she shoved it into the drain. A roar erupted. The fire met the water, hissing and spitting, sending smoke and steam up the narrow passage. Asterisk, no. The entity screamed, a terrible sound of pain and rage. Asterisk, the drain glowed orange and red, the metal heating, bending, twisting. Mira backed out as fast as she could, emerging into the basement room, coughing and gagging on the smoke. The tank collapses. Asterisk, the entity shrieked and thrashed violently, rising from the tank as if the flames themselves could not touch it. Mira grabbed a heavy pipe and swung, breaking part of the tank's structure. Water spilled across the floor, and the entity screamed, its form distorting, tearing, and melting back into the tank. Greater than, this is not the end, it hissed. The tank cracked, metal splitting under the heat and force. Water flooded the basement rapidly, but the fire had done its work. Mira's breathing was heavy, her heart racing. But she had managed to sever the connection. The drain no longer pulsed, no longer dripped. Aftermath. Asterisk, by dawn. Mira was exhausted, drenched, and covered in grime. The basement was a wreck, pipes bent, water everywhere, remnants of sludge and debris scattered across the floor. But the entity was gone. The tank was broken, and for the first time in days, the apartment was silent. Asterisk, she ascended the stairs slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last, but the dripping and gurgling noises had stopped. Her bathroom mirror reflected only her own pale, exhausted face. No shadow lingered behind her. Asterisk, yet as she leaned over the sink, wiping away a streak of grime, she felt it, a faint vibration beneath the tiles. The apartment might be quiet now, but something deep below had survived. Something waiting. Asterisk, this isn't over, a whisper echoed faintly through the walls. So quiet she almost thought she imagined it. The decision asterisk Myra knew she couldn't stay in the apartment. Not after what she had seen. She packed her belongings quickly, leaving behind the cursed furniture and remnants of the flooded basement. But one thing remained: she had taken the tank's metal fragments with her, hiding them in her car. She didn't know why, but a part of her felt it might be needed one day. Either to finish what she started, or to defend herself if the entity returned. Asterisk, as she drove away. She glanced in the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just the empty streets of the city, washed in early morning light. But she knew it had eyes everywhere, even when she couldn't see them. The warning asterisk Mira had survived the drain, the tank, and the entity's wrath for now. But she understood the truth. Asterisk, the entity wasn't bound to one apartment, one tank, or one mirror. It could find new conduits, new reflections, new ways to reach her, asterisk, and somewhere, deep beneath the city. Other tanks and drains connected other prisoners of water and shadow, waiting for their chance. She promised herself one thing: she would never stop fighting. End of part 4. The Bathroom Door, Part 5. The final knock. It was 3:17 a.m. The knocking had stopped, but the silence that followed was worse. Asterisk, Raoul stood frozen in the middle of the dark hallway, his breath shallow and trembling. The dim light bulb flickered above him, casting thin shadows that danced across the cracked walls. The bathroom door stood slightly ajar, the same door that had been knocking by itself. Every night for the last 3 weeks. Asterisk, he could still smell the dampness from inside, and something else, like old rust and rotting wood. Something that didn't belong to this house. Rahul. Asterisk, a whisper. Soft, broken, almost human. It came from inside the bathroom. He swallowed hard, his hand shaking as he reached for the door handle. The metal felt cold, like it had been sitting in ice. For a moment, he thought he saw a faint outline of a palm print on it. Wet, red, and smudged. He pushed the door open. The light inside flickered to life, and the mirror across the room reflected his pale, terrified face. Asterisk, but behind him, in the mirror's reflection, someone was standing. A woman, hair dripping, eyes hollow. A faint smile, curling at the edge of her lips. Asterisk, Rahul turned instantly, but the bathroom was empty. Asterisk, only the sound of dripping water echoed in the silence. Asterisk, he stumbled back, heart pounding. The floor beneath his feet felt soft, like soaked carpet. He looked down. The tiles were covered with a thin layer of dark water, seeping slowly from under the bathtub. Asterisk, not again, he whispered. He had seen this before. Last week when the knocking had first turned into whispers. Asterisk, that same black water. That same smell of iron. Asterisk, he grabbed the towel rack to steady himself, but as soon as his fingers touched it, the mirror cracked. A loud, sharp sound, then another, and another. Asterisk, the cracks spread like lightning bolts across the glass until it shattered, spraying tiny shards all over the floor. Asterisk, behind the broken mirror, there was a hole. Asterisk, a dark, circular opening in the wall, like a tunnel eaten through the plaster. Asterisk, from it came a low, humming noise, like something breathing slowly. He stared. Then the whisper came again. Asterisk, Rahul. You shouldn't have opened the door. Asterisk, he stepped back, trembling, when something cold brushed against his ankle. He looked down, a pale hand, thin and wet, crawled out from the dark hole, followed by another dot. Asterisk. The thing pulled itself out, a woman's figure, twisted and broken. Her head tilted unnaturally to the side, her mouth wide open but silent. Her skin glistened like wet stone. Asterisk. Rahul couldn't move. His voice was gone. His body screamed to run, but his legs were locked in terror. Asterisk. The woman crawled closer, her eyes rolling upward until only white remained. Asterisk. Then, she whispered, not in his ears, but inside his head. Asterisk. The door was never yours to open. Asterisk. Suddenly, all the doors in the house slammed shut. Bang, bang, bang. One after another. The windows rattled, the floorboards groaned. The bathroom light flickered violently until it burst, plunging everything into darkness. Asterisk. He backed into the hallway, gasping for breath. His phone's flashlight barely pierced the blackness, but it was enough to see the door, slowly closing itself again. Asterisk. The bathroom door. It clicked shut. Then came the knock. Once, twice, thrice, and then silence. Asterisk. Rahul raised his trembling hand toward the handle. But before he could touch it, a voice from behind whispered, "Don't." Asterisk. He turned around, and there she was again, the woman, standing right behind him this time, closer than ever. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Then she smiled a horrible, broken smile and touched his face. Everything went black. Asterisk. When Rahul woke up, it was morning. The sunlight slipped through the curtains, painting the room in gold. The bathroom door was wide open. Asterisk. He got up slowly, his head heavy and his throat dry. He walked toward the bathroom, but everything looked normal. The mirror was unbroken. The floor was dry. No black water, no whispers. Asterisk. For a moment, he thought it had all been a nightmare, until he saw the writing on the mirror written with something red, still wet. Greater than. You closed the wrong door. Asterisk. The bathroom door. Part 6. The door that followed him the next morning should have felt like relief, but it didn't. Asterisk. Rahul sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the open bathroom door. The sunlight poured in, soft and harmless, touching the clean white tiles that looked perfectly ordinary. No water, no cracks. No signs of the nightmare he had lived through only hours ago. Asterisk. And yet, the air was wrong, heavy, to still, the kind of stillness that hides something waiting. Asterisk. He rubbed his eyes, trying to convince himself he was imagining it. But then he saw the message again. Asterisk. Greater than. You closed the wrong door. Asterisk. It was still there, faint now, like someone had tried to wipe it away. But the red letters clung stubbornly to the mirror. Asterisk. Rahul's chest tightened. Asterisk. He didn't remember writing it. He didn't remember touching the mirror at all. 1. The call by noon. He decided to call Mira, his friend who had been helping him since the haunting began. Asterisk. Rahul. Her voice sounded sleepy. You okay? You sound off. Asterisk. There's something wrong, he said quietly. It's not the bathroom anymore. Asterisk. What do you mean? Asterisk. He hesitated. The door. It's not just there anymore. It's a knock, interrupted him. Knock, knock, knock. Asterisk 3 soft taps echoed through the flat. Rahul froze. His phone nearly slipped from his hand. The sound wasn't coming from the bathroom. It was coming from the front door. This time, asterisk Mira heard it too. Asterisk, is someone there? Asterisk Rahul approached the door slowly. The knocks stopped. He peeked through the peephole, but there was no one outside. The corridor was empty. Asterisk only a faint shadow lingered on the wall opposite his flat, shaped vaguely like a doorframe. He blinked. When he opened his eyes again, the shadow was gone. Asterisk Rahul. Mira's voice cut through the silence. Asterisk he swallowed. Yeah, must have been the neighbor. But deep inside, he knew it wasn't. 2. The door moves that night. Rahul decided not to sleep. He left every light in the house on and sat at his desk, staring at the bathroom door through the reflection of his laptop screen. Asterisk hours passed. Asterisk the clock struck. 2:45 a.m. The air conditioner hummed softly. Then, without warning, the lights flickered once, twice, and went out completely. Asterisk he cursed under his breath and grabbed his phone for light. But before he could turn on the flashlight, he heard it again. Asterisk creak. The bathroom door was moving, not opening, shifting. Asterisk it scraped across the tiles, inching sideways, like it was dragging itself toward him. Asterisk no. No. Rahul stumbled backward, bumping into the wall. His heart pounded so hard he could barely breathe. Asterisk the door stopped, halfway between the bathroom and the hallway. Asterisk then, from somewhere deep inside the walls, came a whisper. Asterisk greater than you closed the wrong door, Rahul. Asterisk he dropped the phone. The flashlight spun on the floor, its beam cutting across the wall, and for just a moment, he saw them, dozens of door outlines appearing across the wallpaper. Each one identical to his bathroom door. Each one slightly open. 3. The old building the next day. Rahul couldn't stay there anymore. He packed a bag and went to Mira's apartment across town. When he arrived, he looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes. Voice barely steady. Asterisk, you look like you've seen a ghost, she said softly. I think I brought one with me, he replied. Mira frowned. What does that mean? Asterisk. Rahul told her everything. The knocking, the woman, the writing, the moving door. Mira listened in silence. Then she got up and fetched her laptop. Asterisk, I found something, she said. You're building block 17, right? I looked up its history last night after your call. Asterisk, she turned the screen toward him. It was a scanned newspaper clipping from 1998. Asterisk, mysterious death in apartment bathroom. Tenant found drowned in dry tub. Asterisk below it was a black and white photo of a woman, long hair. Faint smile, the same tilted head he had seen in the mirror. Asterisk, her name was Asha, Mira said. The neighbors said she'd complained about hearing knocking sounds every night before she died. The police said it was suicide, but there were rumors. Asterisk Rahul's throat went dry. Rumors. Asterisk that she didn't die in the bathroom, Mira said. They found her body behind a wall. Someone had sealed the door from the outside. Asterisk, he stared at the photo. That face, he couldn't mistake it. The same woman, the one from his mirror. asterisk. The one who whispered his name. For the new apartment, asterisk, Rahul stayed with Mira for 3 days. Everything seemed fine at first. No knocks, no whispers, no strange shadows. Asterisk, but on the 4th night, as he brushed his teeth in her bathroom, he noticed something odd. The door handle. Asterisk, it looked exactly like the one from his apartment's bathroom. Same metal, same scratches near the lock. Asterisk, he froze, staring at it. Mira, he called. No reply then. From the other side of the door, 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. The toothbrush fell from his hand. He yanked the door open, but Mira wasn't there. The hallway was empty. Only the faint smell of wet soil lingered in the air. Asterisk, he stepped out slowly, the floor creaking under his feet. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. Then, he saw it. At the end of the hallway, another door. It hadn't been there before. Mira, he whispered. Is this some kind of joke? Asterisk, he walked closer. The door looked old, wooden, and damp, identical to the one from his flat. A chill ran through his spine. Asterisk, greater than you brought me with you, a voice murmured behind him. He turned. Mira stood there, eyes wide open, but her expression was blank. Her lips moved soundlessly for a moment before she said, in a low, distorted tone, asterisk, she doesn't live in the bathroom anymore. Rahul, the door follows you now. 5. The knock inside asterisk that night. Rahul woke to a faint knocking. But this time, it wasn't on a door. It was coming from inside the walls. He pressed his ear to the plaster and heard slow, deliberate knocks echoing from within. Then, a voice, muffled but clear. Asterisk, let me out. Asterisk, the wall began to bulge slightly, as if something inside was pushing against it. Rahul stumbled back, his heart hammering. He grabbed his phone light and pointed it at the bulge. The surface pulsed like it was breathing. Asterisk, he ran to Mira's room, but the bed was empty. Asterisk, only the window curtains moved, though the window was closed. Then he heard the bathroom door creak open again. He turned. Asterisk, a figure stepped out, soaked, pale, and smiling. The same woman, but now her face looked more real. Her eyes reflected the light. Her shadow moved. Asterisk, Rahul tried to speak, but his voice cracked. What do you want from me? She tilted her head, and for a moment, her voice sounded almost kind. Greater than, you left me behind the door. Now I'm leaving you behind one. Asterisk, before he could react, the floor beneath him split open like a crack in glass. He fell backward into darkness. 6. The other side asterisk, when Rahul opened his eyes. He was lying on cold tiles. The smell of damp air filled his lungs. He stood up slowly, realizing where he was. The bathroom, but not his bathroom. Asterisk, the mirror was broken. The light flickered dimly, and water dripped steadily from a rusted tap. The door behind him was shut. He reached for the handle. It didn't move. Then he heard knocking from the other side. Knock, 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 Mira. He shouted, open the door, please. Asterisk, but no one answered. The knocking grew faster, louder until it became pounding. Asterisk, then, suddenly, it stopped. A whisper slid through the cracks of the door. Greater than, now you know what it's like. Asterisk, the sound faded, and the light went out. 7. Epilogue asterisk 3 days later. Mira's neighbors reported a foul smell coming from her apartment. When the police arrived, they found the place empty, except for one thing, a bathroom door, old wooden, standing alone in the middle of the living room, on it. Written in faint, dry red letters, greater than he closed the wrong door. And when one of the officers leaned closer, he swore he heard something. 3 soft knocks coming from the other side. Knock knock knock.